All right, so today we have a very special guest, a lovely mother of three kids, and she's a native here. Well, not a native, but you're been in Cornwall for a long time, and just by being a mother it means that you're doing good, something good. So that's why we like to have people who are here in the podcast that are doing good things. So, Kara, thank you for being in the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
All right, awesome. So, we like to talk about Cornwall at the very beginning. So, tell me, when did you come to Cornwall, and what was it like when you first came here?
So I moved to Cornwall at the start of middle school, which then was sixth grade. Now it's fifth grade, but it was sixth grade then. And I didn't know anyone, and I was very intimidated at the start. And especially being starting middle school is not the best time. But I did make my way. It took a little while. I do have to say, like, I loved the teachers at that time, Mrs. Wart, Mr. Brand, Mr. Gavin. There were a lot of great teachers, and they really helped to facilitate togetherness, I guess, as best you can in middle school, because I do think that's a hard time
Oh, I'm sure.
socially. Yeah.
Absolutely. And one of the great things that I hear all the time from people is that, whenever you had a teacher, like your kids later on would end up having the same teacher, and it's almost like three generations of the same family end up having the same teacher because it's such a great community and people stay around for so long.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear one of those things. Now tell me about what is it about this town that makes it special for you? How come you settled roots here, or you decided to stay here and not go somewhere? What is it about Cornwall that really inspires you, or you really like?
I think for sure the small town community. As much as people have negative to say about it, I think that there's a lot of positive about it as well. And I just love that people know you, they know your family, they know your history a lot of times. Especially Anthony and I are high school sweethearts, so
Oh,
yeah, a lot of people. It's friendly, it's warm, and I just love the idea of the community, really, more than anything.
yeah, it's a lovely little town, and I'm always talking about it and how great it is. And you hear from other people who come from out of town and they come in and they check it out. It's like, oh my God, this place is like amazing. So it's a great little community. Now let's catch up. How are things going with the kids? How's the hybrid learning going? I'm sure it's so easy, right?
It's just a piece of cake. I mean, I taught first grade and there were 24 kids in the room. And let me just tell you, I found that a lot easier than teaching my two children at home. But yeah, each day comes with its own challenges. I will say I love being more involved in their education and actually sometimes reading the books with them that they're reading, especially Anthony's in fourth grade. But it's challenging. I mean, there's definitely times where they need to do work and they're not working and I'm pulling my hair out and then the dog is barking and then everybody's jumping on everybody and I'm just losing my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm happy that the kids at least get to go into school a couple of times a week. That's really nice,
Yes.
and then they're happy that they're doing that, even though they won't admit it most of the times. But I think they're excited to go in. I feel bad that they only have like a small amount of friends. Like such a small cluster of kids, and they don't get to experience the other whole half a class. They don't even know they have a whole half a class of kids that they can interact with. So. Yeah, it's been interesting. Now, how have you guys? Do you guys have anybody coming to help you guys out, or is it just you?
It's mainly me, but once a week, Nikki works with a small group with his teacher from last year. And once a week, Anthony works with a small group with his teacher from this year. She was also his teacher last year. But so they get like an hour or two a week where they're working with a different teacher, which for me, I love because if they have a problem with something, then I know that even though their teachers in school are amazing as well and they're focusing on them, I just know they get a little bit of extra help. And it's not all on me.
Oh my
you
God.
know,
I
like,
know.
because I know the teachers right now, they have smaller classes, but they have so many other expectations. And I know everybody's just working really hard.
It seems
So,
like it's just one big giant experiment,
yeah.
because not only are the teachers trying to figure out how much work to give the kids, teaching online, teaching in the classroom,
Yes.
then you also as a parent, like normally you'd be like, all right, let's just take a break and go somewhere.
Right.
Okay, but where do you go? There's not a lot of places you can go,
Yes.
so you're like stuck somewhere. You're stuck at home. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, let's just go to the park. Oh, really? I don't know if we should go to the park, or let's go hang out with other people. Like those people might want to not want to hang out.
Yeah.
How's it been there for you guys? You guys have like any extracurricular activities, any special tips that you can give people? It's like, oh, try this because it's really worked out for me.
I mean, I don't know. We have neighbors that the kids do play with. We allow them to play mainly outside, and that's been helping. And then we do get out into nature. I will say that. And my boys love to be outside. So when they get really rambunctious, I just open up those doors and go out. Yeah,
Take them out. Just
you're
get
out.
out there.
You're out. You got to take that outside.
Yeah.
And they've been and I have made sure to keep them in sports because for them, I know it's key. I know it's key to keep them moving any bit I can. So they do soccer, they do flag football. I almost said tag football, flag football. And we're just and I'm trying to get them into skiing or snowboarding for the winter
Ooh.
because I just want them moving and
Yeah.
outside. I feel like that's how they're going to be the best,
Yeah.
most productive and happiest.
Yeah. We recently discovered a skate park over in Beacon. So they have a little skate park, the Memorial Park, and I think the community just got together. They got like a fundraiser, and they built all these little ramps, and they created this little area by tennis courts. Yeah, and they just have all these ramps, and people just come over, spend time with the community. And we found out last week, and we've gone like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, we'll have
Because
to
Rona's
check
like,
it out.
I gotta go. And
Yeah.
you go over there, and you're like, oh my god.
Well, we've been to the one over in Monroe. Over the summer, we went over that way a couple times, but we'll have to check out the one in Beacon.
Yeah.
Because they
There's
picked
one
up
in Monroe?
skateboarding. There is one in Monroe.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's Washingtonville. I'm the wrong town. Yeah,
Okay.
Washingtonville.
All right, cool.
But
Yeah, we'll have to check that one out.
But it's always good to get different places to go.
Yeah, because you got to switch it up. You can't always, you get tired of the same place, and
Yeah.
it's so difficult with the restrictions that we have now. So now let's switch gears a little bit. You also, on top of being a mom and doing it all around the house and everything, you also run a little foundation called Love from Heaven. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the foundation, what it's all about?
So the foundation was created to really provide support and resources and almost most importantly, I mean, it's all important, but hope for families that have lost a child. It can be an extremely isolating thing because you feel like, first of all, when it happens to you, you feel like it's so rare, and it's not extremely common, but unfortunately, after you go through it a little bit, you realize there are other people who have been through this. But at the very beginning, you don't know which way is up. You're shrouded by darkness. You don't know where to turn. So that's really what the foundation was created for, was to help these families. We have a list of resources and books and websites, and also if you or someone has lost a child, we will send a care package with some things that we found helpful when we lost Christian. And once a year we have a holiday help program where we help a family that's lost a child within the calendar year, and we provide them with holiday gifts for the family. And the reason we did that is because we wanted to give back. We had an amazing community, Cornwall, amazing friends, family, everything that shopped for us, bought gifts for us. I mean, you think of the kids, and everyone thinks of the kids, especially around the holidays. But this community went way, way above and beyond. They not only fundraised for a beautiful memorial playground for him, but then at Christmas time, they went out and shopped for our family and brought the gifts and wrapped them. And basically, they did everything. They made beautiful memorial ornaments with the children from the school. And so that's really how this came to light. And in addition to that, we want to be able to give a scholarship to some graduating seniors. We have not made a definitive decision on when that will start, but that's also part of what the foundation does.
That's wonderful. It's so nice that you were able to start something like. What was it? Because I mean, people who go through this, it must be extremely difficult. What made you, besides the community, want to be there for other people who? Because people go through it, but that's it. But starting a foundation, that's something very nice and very thoughtful to do, to try to help other people go through that. Where was the inspiration to do something like that?
I think it was twofold. Number one, Christian was this.
He was such a lovely little kid. He was so nice.
Yes and no. No, he was.
I had nothing but fun memories of him.
That's a good thing. No, he was an amazing child. He still is an amazing light, and Everything, I say this all the time, everything Christian did, he did 150%. So if he was happy and he was being kind and everything was great, like he was, which is how it was most of the time, he was shedding light everywhere he went. His smile, just lit up rooms. He helped people. He was just kind. He was such a kind soul. But then if he, was fighting with mom and dad or about something or was angry about something, he was also 100%.
Of course, he was a kid.
He was a kid.
Yeah.
He was a kid. So his, kindness and the way he affected lives after he passed away, and I heard how he affected so many lives in 6 short years. I was blown away. And I'm not, I was just blown away. I was blown away how a child could do that. So that was one thing. I knew I had to have something in his memory to keep his memory alive and keep his spirit alive. That's a special thing.
It is, absolutely.
And I needed to keep that going. And it was I felt very responsible. I feel very responsible for that as his mom. And the other thing was when we lost Christian, again, you're in such shock. And all you need is someone else. No one can fix it for you. It'll never happen. Yeah. But to find someone else who can say, I know you're in survival mode right now. I know that to breathe hurts. It literally hurts for you to take a breath, and it's okay. And one day it won't be that intense. You'll always miss your child. You'll always have these memories of your child, but it won't hurt to breathe one day. Yeah. To give somebody that insight, I think, is my biggest hope for this foundation and for what I'm doing to try and help other people.
So let's talk about that, because there's been some families that you guys have been able to help. What has been the feedback from them? I'm sure they really appreciate what you guys are doing for them. Have you found comfort, or have you guys found comfort within a group of people that have gone through that? What has it been like with the feedback in the foundation?
It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, to be able to help another person who was in your place is so incredibly, it's so healing. And it's just amazing. I've watched, so I also have a grief group, with grieving mothers. And actually we met last night, and the 4 women that were in attendance last night was a very she lost her son 4 months ago, a woman who's coming up on 1 year, a woman who is 1.5 years out, and myself. And I could see, it was interesting. We were all in different places, and I could see the progress made by each one of them, how they've come, far, and they've changed, and they're not in that place of dire, devoid of hope. And, that makes a big difference to see people saying, hey, I came to this meeting and it helped. I knew I wasn't alone. You knew what I was talking about. Or the family that received the Christmas gifts, it took such a burden off of us to not have to think about our other 3 children that are celebrating Christmas. And here you came in and they give us our wish list. We asked them for the top 3 things that they would like and that their children would like, and that's how we shop for the children, and we give them the option if they want them wrapped, not wrapped. And then, and it's been a beautiful experience.
That's fantastic. And, I remember whenever we go to your fundraiser, it's always great to see, because the community comes together to help the foundation and to raise funds for it, and so that you guys can get and do all those things for the other families. Now, what's going on this year? I hear that you guys can't have a fundraiser because everything was going on.
Yeah, we made the decision to not have it because of COVID. I don't know if we made it or COVID made it.
COVID made it for you guys, I guess, yeah.
So, yes, it wasn't going to be feasible for this year. So, we're still, fortunately, we had a very successful fundraiser last year. It was an absolutely amazing event, and the love and the energy in that room was some of the most incredible, energy I've ever felt. I can't tell you.
It was a packed house. You couldn't fit any more people in there.
Gosh, it was a packed house. They said that was one of the most successful, if not the most successful, fundraiser that they ever had. I mean, the way this community turns out. A lot of donations were given out
by a lot of the community.
A lot of the donations.
Businesses, yeah.
We had, everyone has been so incredibly kind, generous, it's just been an amazing thing. So we will forego that this year, but it will be, we're looking forward. We had also planned at the start of the year when we met with the board, we were talking about a spring fundraiser, right about March time.
It would have been perfect.
It would have been perfect. I mean, so that clearly had to go. So we'll see what's
But it
to
doesn't
come
have to be a
for
negative. I
next
mean,
year.
we're here talking about it. So whoever's
Absolutely.
watching this and hearing this, how can they help the foundation? Is there a place that they can go to donate, or is there anything they can do to help you guys raise funds this year to help another family in need?
Yeah, they can go to lovefromheaven.org, and on there it says donate now, and they can click right in there. They can donate that way. There's also, if they do know of a family that is in need, there's my contact information on there, and they can contact us, and we can send out a care package as we talked about, or they can just contact me, even if you just think I need them to talk to someone, or we lost a family member and I need to talk to someone. That doesn't just have to be a child.
Yeah.
My sister lost her nephew, my parents lost, and my in-laws lost their grandson, so I can understand it from a lot of different views. Can't speak from those views, but I can really understand the grief and how it affects a full family. So, and just if you need resources,
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the website's full of resources if people need to go in there and find out,
Absolutely.
how get the tools that they need, the support, the groups. And I think it's really thoughtful and nice that you guys have all that stuff available for everybody right there. So if you do have the time, if you have the opportunity, go to the website, check it out,
Please.
make a donation so you can help someone, this family that's going through a hard time this year. I think it would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Where's the future of the foundation? What do you want to see it in the future? What are your dreams and aspirations for the Love from Heaven?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I am like a dreamer. When you say dreams, I do feel like I have my head in the clouds. But
awesome to dream big.
I mean, if I could, it would be a nationwide foundation that would serve so many communities, so many families. I would love to have, I do write the blog, which is, the link is also on the Love from Heaven website. So I have that aspect of it. I would love one day to, write even maybe a book through that, and then through the foundation give talks and offer. I really would love to include children's events for children, because obviously mothering two young boys who lost their brother so young, I have been through a lot, and I do feel that I've been able to help them work through it, with my help and therapists. We've had both, and I think that that's an important aspect. Like I mean, my dream is, I feel a little bit crazy, but I would love to have a camp every year for these kids, and, have multiple groups going for different kinds of loss. I would really love to expand the whole thing and really just help the biggest dream for the foundation is help as many people as humanly possible, because grief needs to be a little bit more normalized, and society needs to be talked about. I think we're getting there. I see a lot of it, see
Especially
us
this year.
progressing.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
This year has done, in that sense, for normalizing it. But, I just want, it sounds kind of hokey, but I want to be like a beacon of hope for other families.
Yeah, of course.
Because I know how much hope I lost when we lost Christian.
Yeah.
I know that I just felt like this is going to be forever. I'm going to be without this child forever.
Yeah, no, I
So-
mean, as a parent, I can't even imagine what you guys have been through, and we will always try to be there for you guys. But I can imagine filling that hole, thinking about it every single day. So it's nice to see that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you have people like you who are helping people get through this difficult times, because it's the darkest day for a parent, definitely. So having some help out there is very, very nice.
Yeah.
What kind of words of advice would you give someone who's going through a hard time right now, especially with the pandemic and everything happening, losing a father, a mother, a son, an uncle? What kind of words of advice can you give someone who's going through that?
I think there's a lot of healing and connection. I think you need to know, no matter what sort of grief, hurt, anything. I mean, and this really goes for anything. Try to connect with someone, because if you can connect with someone and someone else sees you, and you feel seen, you're not going to feel alone. And that goes a long way in this. Look, we said this at the beginning, right? No one can fix us. We can't fix anyone else. We only can walk our very own journey. But if we have people to walk it with, it really does lighten the burden. It really helps. I think that's a big one. And I think, too, movement. A walk, getting outside, getting the light on your face, especially in COVID. I mean, and I'm saying that from personal experience because especially with this sort of hybrid, I find that I'm inside a lot because I'm with the kids. We're on the computer. We're staring at the computer. So when we take our first break of the day, like I try to at least get out and walk outside and let the sun on my face because that will affect a lot for you and for where you are if you're having a hard time. Yeah.
Well, that's good advice. For people who don't know, you actually coach the soccer team as well. What any other sports that you're looking at taking on as a soccer as well? Because this, mother running a foundation and also being a soccer mom. What else do you got going on?
No, I am not right now. I mean, I will do it if they're in dire need of a coach for any sport. If I know the sport. If I don't know the sport, you got no chance. But real quick about the soccer, I was also a Christian soccer coach.
Oh, were you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so honestly, the week he passed away, it was a Monday, and we had a soccer. We had our first soccer practice, and we were there. And I was with a friend also because I'm too scared to do it by myself. I'm not that confident in my coaching skills. But so we were there I was there, and my friend had gotten there before I got there to start the coaching, and we were scrimmaging another team. And I looked over at the other team we were scrimmaging, and it was a mother, and she had 3 little boys, and she had 2 little boys, and she looked like she had it all together, and her kids were, behaving, and the one was playing soccer and the other one was
Get out of
behaving.
here.
Yeah, I
No way.
know.
Oh my God.
And I was thinking, oh my gosh, here I am. I came to practice late. I'm supposed to be the coach. My kids were like running around. I had Nikki, who was 1, Anthony, who was 3, Christian, thinking, oh man, I'm failing at this thing. Well, come to find out, and I didn't find this out until many months later at a fundraiser, actually. She came and she said, she came up to me and introduced herself again. And she said, I was the soccer coach that we were scrimmaging that day. Yes, it's nice to see you. She said, I had to pay it forward. And I looked at her and I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, I lost a child.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And that has been one of the biggest things that I've always had in the back of my mind is that I looked at her, thought she had it all together, thought her life looked, how you make a snap judgment. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, she had been through the same pain. So you never really know where anyone is.
Wow.
And that just reminded me of it when you asked me about the soccer. But I find that as one of a defining stories in my journey.
That must have been so helpful. That must have been
it really
so
was
connecting with you and her, like such a connecting moment.
Well, and she, she was living. She was living her life again. So when I realized that, wow, she's been through this and she had been living to the point that I was even, admiring how she was living and thinking she was doing
She
great.
came here on time. She said the 2 kids were behaving. She looks well put together. Like, oh my God, everything's
got it all
perfect with her.
going.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So it was very hopeful for me because I knew, okay, that's the more examples you have of someone who went through what you went through, down the line and they're living and they're, they've found joy again. That's really a big lesson of any loss, but child loss, joy and sadness coexist.
Yeah.
They're right there together. And there's times where they mix and they mesh, but there's times where they're just perfectly parallel. Yeah. Anytime you can find those, that's another word of advice. People, like a group, a grief group. Don't, reach out. There's so many ways to do it online, in person. I mean, as much as you can now, but yeah. So that's my soccer story. But I won't be coaching anything else unless they're in dire need. I will always help.
You're not doing the swim team. You're not doing the dance group.
I'm good.
Oh my God, it's so disappointing.
I know.
Now, what's trying to look at a lighter note. Where do you want to go once this whole pandemic is over and kids are done with their hybrid school and going back to school? Like, what's one place you're like, man, I'm gonna go and do this or do that?
I don't even know anymore. I feel like I've lost.
It's never gonna happen.
I feel like My sister lives in Tampa. My sister, my brother-in-law, my nieces, and we drove to Florida. We drove down there during the
so much
pandemic. So yeah, so I'll be happy when we can take a plane again. We don't have to drive to see them because that was a good 21-hour drive with
Yeah.
2 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll get there. I mean, like anything else, it will get better. It will pass, but it's hard some days to see hope. I feel like even in this.
Yeah, it will. I mean, it's not. It's a friend of mine was saying it's like it's not going to be like a movie when somebody comes in, gives you a shot, and everybody's healed and everybody's happy.
Exactly.
We're going to have to learn to live with like the flu shot. We're going to have a corona shot, and it's going to have to be everlasting. And hopefully one day we'll get it under control. But it's going to have to adjust to the new type of living, and it'll be fine. I'm looking forward to just. First of all, my wife and I had a 10-year anniversary that we wanted to go away for.
Yeah.
And it's just like this whole thing put the damper on it. So like, whatever, you'll do it another time. But even like the kids, like, I want to be able to like, we have like usually like a yearly trip to like Kalahari.
Right.
And we go and we have fun and it's like great. So we're looking at it, but it's like, can we do that or not? It's like, we want to get back to normal as much as possible, but it's kind of difficult, but we'll get there. I'm sure we will. So before we leave, where can they find you? Follow you so that they can be aware of everything you guys got going on?
Yeah, so they can find us at lovefromheaven.org. We're on Instagram at Love From Heaven Inc. We're on Facebook, Love From Heaven. And the blog is christiansredballoon.com, which the link is also on the Love From Heaven website. And I really just want to let anyone know who, that we're always here. We're always here. We're always available. I want to help. So please, you're not bothering. You're not, contact us. Let us know. Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for coming to the podcast. I really appreciate it. It was great sharing the stories with you. And for all you guys listening out there, thank you for joining us. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.
Thanks so much.